Hi everyone and welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today. Great to have you with me. So today's pick a card reading question is, what is blocking the other person? And we are going to explore that question by breaking down some bite-sized pieces to gain an understanding of where the other person's at. What are they thinking, feeling and experiencing in terms of their connection with you? What are their circumstances? But essentially what's blocking them from taking it forward? Before we get started, if you would like to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon while you're there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Like and share this video where you can. It would be great to get me out there far and wide. If you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. So before you on the screen, 4 different cards represented by a different crystal. The idea is to choose a card and crystal that resonates with you most clearly. Now, to get that started, I like to do a bit of a guided meditation, so feet firmly on the ground and taking in a nice deep breath. And as you release the breath, letting go of any tension that you're holding from within. And drawing in another nice deep breath. And as you release the breath, clearing the mind. So drawing your attention back to the screen, which of these cards and crystals has the strongest resonance for you? Is it card number 1 with the rose quartz? Card number 2 with the quartz crystal? Card number 3 with the amethyst? Or is it card number 4 with the carnelian? Down below, 4 different timestamps representing each of the different cards. If you would like to go to the card that you chose, I'll be with you in a moment. Hi everyone, this is card number 1. This is the rose quartz. Today's question being, what is blocking them? So let's get the cards out and have a look and see what's going on. Let's not waste any time. So we've got the moon. 7 of Pentacles. Strength. 6 of Wands. The Tower. 6 of Cups. Temperance. 8 of Pentacles. Separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. Detach. Challenging times. And let me just get these centered into the center of the screen so that I can relax and get into your reading. So coming up here to the moon and the 7 of Pentacles, I feel like these cards are describing you. I feel like you're very worried about where things are heading. A lot of uncertainty. There's something about your instincts that are pricking up and saying something's not quite right here. You know, it's a very, very reflective moment in time here for you in relation to this person. I think you're looking at what's going on in a way where you think, well, I've invested a lot into this person. Do I take it forward? Do I continue to keep on giving? I think giving is a big key to this. I feel like you've been giving a lot. You've been putting a lot in to make this all good. You've been establishing it in a way where I think you've been very practical, maybe looking to manage the situation with this person in a way where you're trying to get results so that you have a future together, okay? But there's something that's feeling a bit off for you. Just your instincts are kind of going, hang on a second. I'm feeling uneasy here. Something's not right, okay? And if I come down here to Temperance, 8 of Pentacles, I think the 2 of you have certainly got a strong bond together. Like, so there's no denying that. I think the 2 of you have established a good position in as much as I don't feel that this is just like some kind of fling with somebody. I think there's already been a bit of time passed. My sense is maybe a year, you know, maybe up to a year, could be a bit more. And there's a strong emotional bond there. I think the 2 of you get along very well. There's a lot of common ground. And I think when you're in the moment in that respect, I think things feel really easygoing. You feel like you're making progress. It feels like it's heading in the right direction. But then it comes back to this same thing again of, hang on a second, I'm the one that feels like I'm actually carving the path out here for the two of us for the future. I feel like I'm the one that actually is doing all the work to make this happen, to secure. And that can be a lot of different things. So it could be about tying together the emotional sort of bond with this person. It could be about tying things together in terms of the practical nuts and bolts of a relationship. So you kind of come out of that honeymoon period with a relationship, and then you go into getting things done that actually tie you together in a way where you have security, money in the bank, plans that actually take you forward in a way that help you to realize certain goals that are very joint. That's what partnerships are all about. But I get a sense that you're the one that feels like that you're doing it all. Something's not right there. This is the other person's strengths. 6 of Wands. A very attractive person. People really like this person. Feel good around his. It does feel like a strong masculine energy, but it could be a man or a woman. Definite sense that when you're around this person, there's a sense of potential. They make you feel good. They make you feel like anything is possible. So all these outward signs are really positive, Anything can be accomplished. I think they're very focused on their work, very focused on succeeding in the direction of their career, perhaps. They're also very distracted by friends. I get as friends and associates, I get a feeling that they really are spending a lot of time focusing in on other people, perhaps not focusing in on the relationship at this time. Very easily distracted by other people. There's something in that. I feel that this person also needs to be validated by other people. They enjoy the acknowledgement of their peers, but they also enjoy the acknowledgement of their friends. It makes them feel good about themselves. It lifts their spirits, which is a really lovely thing. But it does point to something that makes me ask some questions. I feel like there's a bit of insecurity though. I feel like they need attention. Why is it that they're being distracted from you? Why aren't they putting things in place in a way where your relationship is more balanced, where they're contributing towards the efforts that you're making in terms of the partnership and the future of where things are going together? So I get a sense also, coming down here to challenging times, there is ego in this person, definitely. They need that stroked. They need to feel good about themselves. And that can actually bring up some problems because they can be quite competitive. They need to stand out. They need to be a little bit ahead of everybody else in a way that gives them an edge, a competitive edge. And that can be disruptive in the relationship because I think the ego leads to some problems around building a bond with another person in a way where it becomes at the expense of the other person, if that makes sense. Are they doing it for the right reasons? Well, they're building on their ego, so no. They're building on something that's about making them feel better about themselves. It's a falsehood based on an insecurity. It's like, I need to compensate to actually feel strong and worthy, valid. So it can, that energy, okay, bringing that energy to a relationship can be a bit destructive because it can bring in a power struggle. Essentially, they need to be right all the time. They can become really quarrelsome, and they can instigate conflict, disagreements, and they need to be right. That's probably one of the most important things. So you've got a lot to deal with here, okay? Got quite a lot to deal with. Coming over here to the Tower and the 6 of Cups. I question whether there's issues around having children, whether children might be an issue for some of you, particularly in the future, or maybe having children now. I also feel like there's issues around childhood. And I feel that this insecurity that I'm identifying with is something that stems back to their childhood. I feel that they've had no support as a child. I feel that they have had experiences that have left them to feel that people are unreliable. And this is based in their childhood. And so there's trust issues that have formed during their childhood. And so they don't feel that people are going to be there for them. And I think they've seen some harsh realities as a child. When you're a kid, everything has a rose tint on it, because at the end of the day, you're looking through the lens of innocence. You don't know about all the big bad things that happen in the world, but I think this person's taken some hard knocks and they've actually seen that the world can be a bit of a nasty place. And that people aren't always trustworthy. And so as a consequence, I think there's some confidence issues based around that as well. But also I think fundamentally they feel that people are reliable, that they're not always going to be there. Now, that does lead to asking some big questions in terms of what's going on here, because my sense is that, let me come over here to detach. And this is another interesting card, because this is a card that indicates that the ego is preventing you from seeing things really clearly, okay? Once again, it builds on this idea of this person needing to beef things up, having a competitive edge, having to be right about everything, being quite sort of disagreeable based on their ego. And I feel that there's also a tendency to blame other people for their problems. Okay? So when it comes to taking responsibility for themselves, they don't want to do that. They kind of just go back into this very childish or childhood state of wanting to kind of feel innocent and not wanting to have to face the reality of what things are really, really like. And so it's very difficult for them to get a fair and balanced perspective about what's actually going on in order to make a truthful assessment. And at the moment, I feel that as a consequence of their behavior, okay, that it unfairly weights this potential of the relationship to actually move in a constructive direction, yeah? And you're the one that's having to pick up the slack. You're the one that's actually having to do all of the necessary work in order to give this the support that it needs. And I think you've just come to a point where you say, look, I just don't feel that this is resonating quite fully. I know that we've made a lot of progress. I know that we've actually built some really strong, a really strong a here in terms of, a kickboard to move into the future together. But I kind of feel that I'm the one that's doing all of the hard work. Where are you? You're off with your friends. You need to be distracted. You need to be validated by all of these other activities that make you feel better about yourself. You're not focusing in on the relationship. You're focusing in on doing things that give you a sense of achievement, but which are not achievement orientated in our relationship. So it's kind of like a really unfair push in the direction that actually just makes this other person feel better. And the reality is that life is not all about making yourself feel better. Life is actually about contributing fairly. Life is about doing the hard work where it's necessary in order to help others and as well as yourself. I feel that the difficulty is going to be getting this person to face the reality of what's going on. I don't feel that they're going to want to look at that. And this is where separation, time apart from your partner is on the horizon, comes up. Time apart is definitely in the balance, because this is not a sustainable pathway. Yeah? You can't have one person doing all the work. You need two to tango here. Time apart will give you the ability to see things more clearly. But will it actually change the way this person feels and thinks and acts fundamentally? There's a lot of work there that needs to be done for this particular person, okay? And I feel that you have already done an enormous amount to support the direction of this, and that for you to continue to contribute to help them to get to a point where they fully realize what it is that they need to be and do, that's a tough call, because then you're really going out on a limb. You definitely have a bond. It's a loving one, okay? But is this person able to pull themselves back and turn themselves around in a way that actually fairly contributes back, I don't feel that that's going to be anytime soon. I feel that you need to let this person figure this out for themselves. You're not fully responsible for them, okay? You need to look after yourself, give yourself the support that you need so that your path is clearer. Getting preoccupied and bogged down in something that somebody else is not prepared to look at clearly or even take responsibility of at this point in time is probably going a step too far. So guys, I hope this has made some sense, and if it has, please leave some feedback down below. It'd be great to get your comments. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon, that'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. If you would like to get some more information on myself as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. And just on a final note, plenty of videos there already posted to my YouTube page. Feel free to browse those and have a look, and take care. Thank you. Hi everyone, this is card number 2, and this is the Quartz Crystal. So today's question is, what is blocking the other person? Let's get the cards out on the table and see what's going on. We've got the Lovers, 3 of Pentacles, the Chariot, 9 of Pentacles, the Hierophant, the 5 of Pentacles, Justice, 8 of Pentacles, Wedding, this situation involves marriage, Move, and Reach Out. Straight over here to the Hierophant and the 5 of Pentacles, it marries up with Wedding, this situation involves marriage. I feel that the direction of this particular connection is heading in that direction, but that the other person isn't delivering on either popping the question or moving the relationship in a direction that's actually achieving that anytime soon. And I think there's a range of reasons for that. This is a person who is very traditional, probably a little bit conservative in some ways. That doesn't help. They're also very practical. I think they can be quite slow and considered in their approach to things. Coming back to the traditional aspect, I feel this is someone who wants everything to be really quite right before it gets to a point of bonding or at least settling down in a kind of formal arrangement. So it could be marriage, but also could be something that's a little bit more formal, in the sense that it could be a de facto relationship and making a commitment on a financial level where you move into a house together, perhaps. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be all bells and whistles with a church wedding. But there's a real lack of confidence here from this person. I think they're worried about a number of different issues. One of them is money. I question whether they feel that there might be enough money, enough resources to actually have the kind of wedding that they would really like to have for you, to give you what it is that you want. The other thing is also, there's a worry about providing. So it's not just about the commitment ceremony, it's also about the ongoing commitment. I think there's a worry that they won't be able to provide for you, or a lack of confidence that's around delivering the security that they want you to have in terms of a sort of more traditional conservative commitment. Now, if I come over here to the Lovers and the 3 of Pentacles, I feel that the relationship has come to a point where the 2 of you both make decisions about building on what it is that you've already established. And I do think that the 2 of you actually have a pretty solid basis in terms of a foundation. I don't feel that this is a relationship that's popped up overnight. It feels to me that there's been some considerable time. It could be a few years. If it's not a few years, it's at least a relationship where things are falling into place very quickly in a way where you feel very secure together. Because it's really about next steps. It's about making choices as to what you're going to build on what you've already established. I think there's a little bit of pressure there from other people as well. I really do. I picked that up. I think it could be friends, family, colleagues. Everybody's asking those questions. Where's it all going? What's happening between the two of you? What's the next step? So there's a lot of activity around the idea about what the next part in the process is going to be as a couple. I think for you, coming down here to Justice and the Eight of Pentacles, I think you're ready to move things forwards. I think you also want some answers about how that's going to happen. I think you feel that you've ticked a few boxes already in terms of a timeline, and you're wanting to make some progress, to tick some more boxes, really. A lot of this is also about money for you, and security is about getting ahead. I also wonder whether you've been quite preoccupied with your own path in terms of your work. Carving out a living, maybe working independently, doing your own form of work. That could be a lot of different things. It could be very practical, hands-on work. It could also be about doing freelancing, contract work. But in any case, it's like you're kind of very focused on one moment to the next in terms of getting practical outcomes and making a living. But coming back to the relationship focus, you're definitely wanting to get ahead and move things along. I'm going to come over here to the Chariot and the Nine of Pentacles. Chariot is a card of action. It's about moving things forwards in a direction that says, look, let's get the show on the road, put things on track, gather momentum and really use your willpower to drive things forward in a way where you get a successful outcome. But this other person's a little bit on board and a little bit not on board. They're half in, half out in a way. I think they might be sort of saying to you outwardly, yeah, let's push it in this direction, like marriage or a formal commitment is really the way to go. This thing about housing for me comes up as well. I'm wondering whether you've moved in together or you're making decisions to move in together. It's a part of a bigger process. It's about, stepping stones to take you towards that big moment where you really kind of, formalize things more contractually, really. And I feel that they are largely on board, but at the same time, they're also a bit of a perfectionist. It's like they wanted to get everything right in place, They want it all to be just so. But by the time it gets to that big moment where you're making the commitment to each other at a kind of at a formal level, everything is picture postcard kind of presentation scenario where but yeah, there's some distractions here, and a part of what this is also about is sort of saying, come down here to move. And this is a card, once again, it's about willpower and success and really bringing things together in terms of the relationship. I kind of feel that this person feels that it's all up to them to make it all happen. That they somehow have to master the whole kind of, the whole timeline of managing this in a direction that actually gets it to where it needs to be in terms of making everybody happy, which is about making you happy. It's about making everybody else who is watching the both of you move along on your journey together happy. There's a lot of pressure there, and I feel that they feel that it's like, I've got to focus on this right now, and I need to put the needs of my partner, first and foremost, and get all of this on the road in a way where, but life isn't like that. Unfortunately, they are very traditional, very conservative, so they would take on that role of being that person to sort of think, I'm the one that's actually got to make all of this happen in a way because, that's traditionally what you're supposed to do. But At the same time, if I come over here to reach out, this is a really important card because it helps to recognize where this person's at. This person's feeling really isolated. They're really fearful that they're going to fail on a number of different levels. Fail to give you what it is that you really want in terms of like a traditional ceremony or formal commitment of whatever that means from a contractual point of view. It could be also that they feel really worried about sort of delivering, you know, the sort of the resources to kind of keep the relationship going in the long term in light of a formal commitment. You know, they really feel that they're going to fall flat on their face and their confidence is actually really quite low. And I think outwardly they try to make out like everything's okay and they're just trying to get everything into order. But the reality is that deep down they actually feel quite different. And I think that this is about goal setting. At the end of the day, all of what I'm seeing here is about goal setting. It's like the two of you have kind of lost sight of what this is all about. And it's about your connection to each other. It's not about just taking things to the next level and ticking a whole load of tick boxes, accumulating a whole load of, things, you know, like money and security and a house and, you know, and then living happily ever after. It's about being in the moment and actually enjoying what you have with each other. And I don't see the emotions here. That's what's really missing for me. It's like, I'm just not getting the sense that the two of you are being in the moment and actually appreciating your time together in terms of a part of what is a process, okay? And I think that it's great to have a plan and it's great to sort of research and prepare towards getting to where it is that you want to be in terms of the commitment and uniting together to do that. But I think what's really important is actually identifying with where each other is at a heartfelt level. I think also the other thing that's really important here is that this is about reaching out to the other person and giving them a hand in organizing this. It's too much for one person to take on and feel that they should be doing the whole thing on themselves, because clearly they need some kind of assistance. And the relationship needs to have some balance in that respect. I feel that things are heading in the right direction, but I just think there's just too much pressure barreling down on one particular issue, which is around marriage. And I keep on shying away from wanting to say marriage, because I keep on coming back to this idea about formal commitment. But the reality is, I think that it is a formal commitment in terms of marriage. You need to take the pressure out of the equation here. You need to be in the moment and enjoy things for what they are and not feel that everybody else needs to see anything else other than the truth of where you're both at, which is about enjoying each other's company and step by step together, hand in hand, achieving something that is really beautiful in terms of like a ceremony, okay? Which isn't up to just one person. So I hope this reading has made some sense. I feel that this is heading in the right direction. I just think that the two of you need to take it back a step and be in the moment. So feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback if this reading has helped you in any way. And hit subscribe while you're down there. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Like and share this video where you can. It'd be great to get me out there far and wide. If you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. And there are plenty of other videos posted to my YouTube page, so feel free to browse those. Take care. Thanks very much. Hi everyone, this is card number 3. This is the Amethyst, and today's question is, what is blocking them? Now let's get the cards out and have a look and see what's going on. We've got the Sun, 4 of Cups, Strength, 10 of Swords, the Devil, 5 of Pentacles, the Hierophant, Page of Pentacles. Let go of control issues, allow this situation to unfold naturally. Observe. success and growth. I feel that there is a connection here between the two of you. This is might not necessarily be long-standing, but I think it's sufficient enough for you to be asking the questions as to where things are going next in terms of a commitment. And I think that that's actually been quite a central issue. Hierophant, Page of Pentacles. I think this is you. You're a very kind of I feel like you've got your head screwed on the right way. You're fairly level-headed and you're quite clear about what you want in terms of a commitment with somebody. I think you're ready to make a commitment in a way where you want to plan towards a future. And I think there's no doubts about it. I think you want something quite formal. I mean, that could be, de facto, but it also could be about having, a ceremony, being married to somebody. And I think you're asking those questions. It's like, okay, well, where are we at? What's the next step in terms of planning forward, because this is an opportunity. It's a relationship that has an opportunity to kind of, move into the future and, plan towards certain goals that you can do as a couple. You come up here to the Sun and the Four of Cups, and I feel that you've had a number of relationships where the idea of kids has been perhaps unsuccessful. Maybe this is something that you really wanted, that you've been looking for, but every time you've been with somebody, it just seems to be a pushback, a no-go zone that makes you think, oh God, like at the end of the day, this is an important priority to me, and this is part of what it is that I want. I think also, that you're thinking about your future happiness. You're really wanting to sort of build on a commitment in a way that actually gives you a degree of fulfillment. And these are all really kind of not, I wouldn't say that they're normal, but everybody goes through, well, they are normal because everybody goes through this process in terms of wanting to pair off with somebody to settle down and to have a future in terms of maybe a family. But the other person seems to have reacted really, really overwhelmingly negative to what's going on here in a way that's a bit dramatic. And I get a feeling that they have responded in a way where they've said, look, this is not what I want. This is not the direction that I want to go in. And at the end of the day, if that's what you want, I'm out of here. That making this kind of commitment, it gives me, for them, it sort of leaves them in this kind of area where they feel that they've been controlled. They're losing their autonomy, that somehow they're going to be cornered into a relationship and into a situation which leaves them to feel that they're losing control. I mean, let go of control issues, allow the situation to unfold naturally. I mean, I think this card says so much to me about the way that they've actually responded. It's like they've done the complete opposite. They've actually sort of said, you know what? I'm going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'll cut my nose off despite my face. It's been such a kind of dramatic overreaction in a way which leaves you reeling and thinking, what the hell has just actually happened here? This person has panicked. They've panicked to the idea of what it is that you're proposing. But their panic is based on losing their freedom. And that is one issue that you can deal with. But there is another issue here, I feel, that's a little bit bigger than you and a little bit bigger than them just at the moment. And that's to do with their mental health. I feel that this person is predisposed to a really depressive energy that can take them into a really dark place. And I feel that this issue has triggered that in a way where they've gone down the rabbit hole and things have become very dark and very overwhelming. And the only way they've known how to deal with it is just to push back on everybody and everything and to go into an isolated state. So it seems overreactive. It seems very dramatic, but it's a coping mechanism that actually has been triggered by trust issues. My sense is that there are some long-standing trust issues that are based on a series of relationships that have let them down, not just intimate relationships, but relationships across the board, where they feel that every time they open themselves up to people, they are left in a place where they feel robbed of their freedom and robbed of their self-worth, and essentially, but I think betrayal is a really big theme here for this particular person. But the idea of children seems to also be a bit of a trigger for them. Okay, I think children and marriage, or children and commitment, seem to be a big trigger point, because it represents the idea of making a commitment and responsibility, and that's something that really scares them in a way where they feel incredibly overwhelmed as to whether it's something that they can actually live up to. I don't feel that this is all lost, though. Okay, I really don't. I feel that this person has withdrawn and reacted. Sorry, I feel that this person has reacted and withdrawn in a way where they've had to have some time out. Basically, it's given them an opportunity to really look at what their behavior is all about, and also to look at the state that they're in, because they've got nowhere left to turn. The only way is up. They've hit rock bottom. It's triggered or manifested an outcome where they've been forced to look at themselves, forced to look at the trust issues that they have, and the lack of faith in letting go and going with the process of actually letting something unfold in terms of a relationship. You've done absolutely nothing to warrant the overreaction. This is not about you. This is about the other person. It's about their process, but it's also about the way they manage their thought processes, their emotional responses. And this has given them an opportunity to step back in a way where really they've got no other choice but to surrender to themselves in a way where they actually look at what's going on when it comes to making a commitment to somebody at a heartfelt level. Because this is not the first time it's happened. It's not the first person it's happened with. But at the end of the day, I feel that there is a high degree of despair with this particular person, and that they realize that in order to move beyond this, they're going to have to work through what it actually means. So I kind of feel, if I come over here to success and growth, I don't feel this is all lost. My sense is that there's some really positive energy around this person. I think a big part of what it is that you bring to the table in terms of offering a connection to them is very positive. You're a very strong light, because you have a very rational, level-headed way of looking at things, and you can also map things out quite clearly in terms of what's going on, and that really helps this person to heal in a way where you're a steadying force. So I wouldn't underestimate that. I think that essentially this is a time where they realize that this is old ways of thinking that have to come to an end. They can't carry on like this anymore. And it also, I feel that what's going to manifest out of this is a successful resolution to their conflict and struggle about this idea of commitment. Okay? They've had to go right to the bottom. They've had to hit the bottom of the barrel in order to figure out what it is that's really confronting them. Okay? But there's some very positive energy around them. I think you've helped to bring that positive energy in. I think success is at hand. They're just looking for a way forward. So a part of what that's about is understanding what's going on in terms of their own process, but it's also about assistance, through perhaps looking to nature, or reading books, tapping into a more spiritual energy that actually helps them or supports them to be able to get the answers that they need to be able to claw back some ground, so that they can reconnect with you. My feeling is definitely that they are going through a really difficult time, but that there is hope here. But look, my feeling is that this is as bad as it's going to get, that there is a light on the horizon that is actually about to open up, where things begin to look brighter. I don't think that you should change your tact or change your hopes and your dreams and your plans for the future. At the end of the day, stay clear about what it is that you want. This person needs to deal with their control issues. They need to deal with their commitment issues, and they need to deal with their trust issues in a way where they get over them. The one thing I will say is that this is the beginning of a new path for them. So it's still on very tenuous ground in terms of how they feel and what it is that they can offer to you at this time in terms of a commitment. But I do feel that they are turning a corner and that things are moving in a more positive direction for them. Guys, I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, please leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon, that'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Like and share this video where you can. It'd be great to get me out there far and wide. If you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. And just on a final note, I have plenty of videos that I've already posted to YouTube. Feel free to browse those. I'm releasing them each and every week. Thanks very much. Take care. Hi everyone, this is card number 4. This is the red Carnelian, and today's pick a card reading question is what is blocking them? So let's get into it and see what's going on. We've got the Emperor, Page of Cups, Justice, Three of Swords, the Lovers, Six of Wands, the Fool, Page of Swords, Attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. Teach. And open up. And I'm drawn straight over here to the Emperor and the Page of Cups, and I feel these two cards reflect the other person. You've certainly captured their attention. You've captured their attention. They've been all eyes on you, quite infatuated in a way. You've really taken them by surprise though. Page of Cups is a card of love, and it's about the birth of love. So it's about new beginnings in relation to an opportunity to perhaps expand on the idea or the potential of love being around. This other person is a very, very strong masculine energy, but deep down inside, they're like a marshmallow. They have such an enormous sensitivity, very childlike nature in a very beautiful, innocent way. So probably quite gruff, very sort of strong, I wouldn't say fathering, like paternal energy. It has that real masculinity about them. But at the same time, very tender, very loving, very sensitive, also very creative individual, but they feel very strongly, you know, their emotions are generated quite powerfully. You know, they don't feel in any way small, when it comes to, and a lot of that's to do with their sensitivity. You know, things are quite amplified on that particular level. But I come down here to the Fool and the Page of Swords, and I feel these two cards represent you. And there's a lot of doubt for you, a lot of doubt about where things are going. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel that this is a fresh kind of connection. I don't feel there's a lot of history here. In fact, I don't feel there's any history. I feel that this is somebody who you've met and perhaps been seeing for a few months, or it could be somebody who you've just met and it really hasn't sort of developed or grown into anything substantial just as yet. But there's definitely a communication going on there. And I feel that this person has felt very strongly about you. So what they've seen, they've really liked. And there's been quite sort of like a passionate ignition there in terms of their connection to you. And I think that that's been reciprocated. Attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. And I think the two of you have just been a bit sort of swept off your feet with each other. You've been really in the moment and things have been very positive. And whilst you've experienced what you've had together, it's resonated very strongly and very clearly in a way where the both of you feel very positive about it. But now you're feeling a little uncertain about what's going on. I think you're beginning to take a step back, and I think you're giving off a very aloof energy, you know, a little bit disconnected, because there's something going on here that says to me that you're not confident about what it is that they have to offer or whether they can perhaps make a commitment. And if I come over here to Justice and the Three of Swords, I feel these two cards give us a bit more depth in terms of where the person's at. I get a feeling, my sense is that there is a past relationship, okay? A relationship that's left them feeling very hurt. So there's definitely heartache there. It's coupled with justice. And I'm wondering if this person has actually been involved in a very in-depth relationship that has caused, so they could have been divorced. If it's not divorce, maybe there's been a sort of de facto arrangement where they've had to really get involved at a legal level in terms of breaking up and, essentially dealing with their combined assets. I also question whether there's a child involved here, because if I come over here to the Page of Cups, the Page of Cups is often a card of having, it's a child, it represents a child. And the Emperor is a father figure. So it could be, this person is a father or a paternal figure to a child. So definitely some sort of heartache there, potentially involving a child. And I feel that the breakup of this particular relationship in the past has been very distracting. Things are still being ironed out in terms of the legalities of actually trying to get everything in order so that they can move on. But at the end of the day, I think that this has caused them to close down, Coming over here to Open Up. Open Up is a card that indicates past sorrow. And it also indicates closing down in a way to sort of avoid pain, really. And as a result, the energy becomes very closed, and they basically block themselves from being able to connect with other people in a way where they can take things forward in terms of, especially around relationships. And my sense is that what you're picking up here is somebody who is obviously distracted at a heart level, who has a high degree of responsibility that perhaps needs to be ironed out, maybe from a past relationship, and or having a child from a past relationship. And that although they've been really swept off the feet and they really have been into you and the idea of where this could all go, there seems to be this kind of balance of quite a lot of responsibility on their plate in terms of trying to get things in order so that they can keep it lighthearted. And I think this is the thing, is that if I come over here to Teach is a card that is really about wisdom. It's about the opportunity both to teach and to learn. So I think a lot of what I'm picking up here is that this person has had a lot of pain and a lot of sorrow. They've also had a lot of joy in their life. I think this is somebody who actually can be really quite a lot of fun. They can actually have some real sort of inspirational, childlike moments where they just really just let go and enjoy their life, in a very joyful way. But at the same time, I think circumstantially, things have actually been very challenging for them. And Teach is a card that is very much about wisdom gained through difficult circumstances. And I think that they're really in the middle of a process where they're having to accept what it is that happened in the past, and really trying to sort of work through the idea of letting this go. But essentially, Teach is a card that really beckons you to sort of rise up and above difficult circumstances. And to be an example to other people in that respect, so I think that this person is somebody who really learns from mistakes, learns from their challenges, their past, in a way where they can really grow and develop as an individual, but also that they can share their experiences in a way that help other people to move forward. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think, although I'm picking up, this kind of heavier past influence that really still is being ironed out in a way that causes this person to work through the suffering. And although that is really distractive for them in terms of, you know, their connection to you, I still feel very confident in saying that this person is really taken by you. They really like what they see, and they do see the potential in things moving forward. And I think really this is more about managing your own ideas as to where things are going, which is a little bit more negatively focused. I would be careful not to give off the energy of being a little bit distant and perhaps a little bit not into it, because this person is definitely into it. They've just got some big things on their plate at the moment that really need to be sorted out. And I feel that you just need to be really patient here. I'm going to be kind of going a step further here. I'm going to say that I feel that there is some distance to go before things turn the corner, but things will actually head in a direction where I feel the two of you will actually come into an opportunity to take this forward in a way where you can begin to really understand who each other is and the potential of where this is. The Lovers is a card of intimate relationships. The Six of Wands is a card of success. And my sense is that the two of you are both working through independent challenges. I think that you are also going through some distracting times. It's not just about this relationship for you, or this potential idea of a relationship. I think you've got some things on your plate that need to also be ironed out. I think they also have. I sense that within about 3 months' time, there's an opportunity for the two of you to explore this in greater depth, and that things will move forward. But in all, I feel that this person has an enormous amount to give, a lot on the plate to offer you. I think that you just need to be a little bit patient in terms of where things are going for them at this time. They have a lot of responsibilities that they need to sort out. And at the same time, you also do too. So this is a little bit of a timing issue. Be patient, give it a little bit of breathing space, and the opportunity will avail itself to turn a corner and head in a much more positive direction in the next number of months. Guys, I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, please feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Hit like and share, get this video out there far and wide. Please do hit subscribe as well, and tap on the bell icon while you're there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. If you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. And just on a final note, I release YouTube videos each and every week, so feel free to browse ones that I've already posted. And yeah, take care. Thanks very much.